Thanks, mate. Any more clarity on this week's game from your perspective, from location, etc.?
At this stage, what we're thinking is we're playing at Metricon at 3:10 on Saturday. Obviously, things can change, but that's where it sits at the moment, and that's what we're planning for. So, we're looking forward to that opportunity to get up to Queensland and play a good game of footy.
You're pretty positive after the game on Saturday night about what you saw. A couple more days on, and I imagine a pretty thorough review. How do you view how that one went down? Yeah,
not much has changed, Carl. I was pretty positive. I thought our method in general was pretty strong, and clearly our scoring is a topic of conversation. And we'd like to score more, but we're generating shots. There were some simple things in our game that I thought that we could get better at. That included our D50 stoppage and some of our inaccuracy in front of goal. So I think there's some simple solutions there. I've still got a lot of belief in the way we play, and our method was strong on the night.
Do you think it's a fair topic of discussion? Do you see why maybe there's some questioning around, can you match it with the best when the stakes are pretty high?
I understand the conversation. We've played all those teams and we've been able to kick scores more than the opposition more often than not. So I think it's a conversation that we want to keep getting better. We don't ignore that situation. We want to capitalise on the defensive elements that we play in our game, and we want to score more. But at the same time, we feel confident that if our DNA is strong, that we can score more than our opposition.
Just on that, in the last 6 weeks, I think it is, your accuracy at goal is the worst in the comp. But what are you doing around that to, as you say, make the most of your chances?
We're working incredibly hard, and we have all year. We have for a number of years. Our forwards do a power of work in that space. Some of our quality of our shots probably isn't to where it needs to be at the moment in terms of where we're taking them on the ground. So we'll work on our method to get better shots, but we do need to prove our inaccuracy. There's no doubt about that. And as I said, we're generating the amount of shots that we want in games of footy to kick a score, but we need to do it better. But we're working incredibly hard. Our players are out there now on the track doing extra work right now. So it's something that we're not ignoring, and it's something we need to get better at.
Buddy, how have you read Luke Jackson's form in recent weeks?
I think people can be pretty hard on Jacko. He's not a big possession getter. He provides an enormous, support for Max in the ruck. He's a real disruptor around contest areas. And he doesn't need a high possession to have high impact in a game. And he's someone that we're highly valued, and clearly he's not getting the possession. When you're not winning, people look at possessions, they look at impact on scoreboard, they look at all those things. We don't look at it that way. We look at it contest, we look at what he does for our team, we look at the balance of our team, and he provides plenty of that for us.
From an outside point of view, and I suppose, bear with me, I haven't looked deep into the stats and things, but it looks like the pressure in the forward 50 has been down a bit. I'm not sure if that's what you're seeing, but do you look at something different? Do you stick with the 3 talls, or do you perhaps look at bringing in another small?
We've played with different models throughout the year, and it's really been a model of 3 talls v 2 talls. We've played with 3, and to be quite honest, our pressure inside our forward 50 hasn't changed that much with either model. What we are starting to build, and as I said, I have got confidence, we are generating shots, and we are generating a forward half that will, I think, in the next 4 weeks show that they've got the cohesiveness and the talent to keep winning scores. And that's what I'm really looking forward to seeing, how we maximise the defensive elements of our game, generate the right shots. But I've got enormous belief in our forward half. I think they've got enough talent there, and I think they'll start kicking a winning score for us.
Do you feel like teams might have figured you out a bit? Is that too simplistic?
I thought that's very simplistic. I think every team would love to go through the year winning every game of footy. That's not going to happen. That's not AFL footy. It's very tough. What we need to do is keep adapting our game and keep finding a way to keep getting better and finding our best footy at the right time. That's why I'm pretty happy with the way our method looks, but we need to do it a little bit better. We need to maximise the areas that we're good at and capitalise on those. And I think in time, in the next 4 weeks, we need to keep building our game to make sure we're in a really good position. But our real focus is, and this is really boring, it's around what we do this week. And I know you hate that, Katie, and it's one of those lines that everyone hates, but we can't look too far ahead. We've just got to keep getting better.
What do you do selection-wise, Goody, in terms of this week? Are you expecting to stick with the same group, generally?
Oh, look, we're looking at that. The majority of our group have done a fantastic job for us for a large part of the season, and we want to continue to build that cohesiveness. But we're still looking at areas that we can get better. We might have a couple of subtle changes, but nothing too drastic.
Wiedemann unlikely to come in then, from that perspective.
Yeah, look, we're pretty happy. As I said, we're happy with our forward line in terms of how they're starting to work together. We'll be consistent with that for the next week or so, and give them every opportunity to continue to build that cohesiveness required.
And Jones not quite ready for senior selection, or?
Yeah, look, he's played half a game of footy in a scrimmage type game, so he needs another full game of footy. He'll get that this week, hopefully with the VFL. So we're looking forward to getting him back. He looks sharp at training. He's done a great job with his rehab. But getting back to his best footy, and then he'll be available for selection. But we've got a lot of guys that are starting to perform well. Vandenberg continues his good form. Melksham, Jake Bowie, and Sam Wiedemann starting to come back into some form as well.
Just further to Katie's question, Simon, do you think perhaps since that Collingwood loss, teams have been able to zero in a bit more on you and sort of worked a few more things out, perhaps trying to quell you guys?
I think, like every team, you look at the opposition, you look at where their strengths are, you look at what the opportunities, where they lie, and no doubt teams have done that to us, like we do to opposition. Our ability to adapt and still believe in our strengths and get them done is another thing that we need to focus in on. So, as I said, I'm still really confident that we're generating enough opportunities to beat the opposition, and that's really how I sit here today. I'm really confident in the way we play. I'm confident in the DNA of our game, and I'm confident that we'll get it right at the right time.
You mentioned, I think, before the extra goal kicking. What goes into that? Is there an extra time limit, or are you doing some 20 minutes pre and post training, or what's sort of the mechanics behind that one?
It's just subtly introducing a little bit more into our training. We do it all the time. It's in our schedule, every week about how we do it. We've got a real process about how we go about our goal kicking, and we've got the right guys doing it. So we're certainly confident that the guys are getting their goal kicking practice in, and that we'll execute better.
Last couple, guys.
Goody, probably nothing, but just on Monday, Track, I think, had his knee strapped and wasn't doing a lot. I know it was a light session, but just double checking, all good there.
Yeah, no, he's good. He just gets a little bit of swelling in his knees. Had that since he was, had a knee reconstruction in his first year of footy. So he gets the odd little bit of swelling. He's fine. It's pretty common that he doesn't train much on Monday.